Joining us now is former FBI Assistant Director Ron Hosko, along with former Assistant Secretary of Defense Larry Korb. Larry, I'll start with you first. What does the investigation look like? We're now 48 hours after the fact. What does this look like right now? Jeff just reported that they're now going through the killer's electronic devices. What more are we likely to learn from this today?
Well, what we would like to learn is whether, in fact, he did have contact with any group like ISIS, whether they had any role in it, whether there are other people in the country that he's worked with who might be willing to carry out some of these same type of horrendous attack. So we want to understand what drove him to do this horrible thing so that we can prevent them in the future.
And Larry, on that note, talking about preventing something like this happening in the future, as we heard the FBI Director James Comey say in that news conference yesterday, he doesn't believe that there's anything that the FBI could have done differently to have prevented this man from obtaining those weapons and going into this nightclub and killing 49 innocent people. He was investigated twice by the FBI.
Well, he was, but after their last investigation, they decided they had no evidence to continue it, and they took him off the terrorism watch list, which then allowed him to purchase these guns. Unfortunately, the military style gun that he used to kill all these innocent people. And I think Secretary Clinton put it very well. You know, you can't go after everyone because they happen to have a, particular religion. We are a country of over 300 million people, and you can't buy perfect security. So you try and minimize the risk, but you're never going to be able to completely eliminate it.
And this is for Ron Hosko. Ron, this is Leah Gabriel, Fox News correspondent. So, you have extensive experience working cyber operations for the FBI. We know that this man, I don't want to say his name, as FBI Director Comey doesn't want to either, but he used his cell phone from the club during this attack. In previous years, wouldn't the FBI been able to have essentially looked at that phone number, used metadata collection to immediately assess who his known contacts were, who he most recently called, who he has contact with, and predict if possibly a coordinated attack were to occur? Because, this wasn't a coordinated attack, as in the Paris attacks, but it could have been.
Yes, Leah, the FBI, were they there at the time of this incident while it was ongoing? Would be going back to the cell service provider and trying to get maximum information about recent use, locality information, cell tower information, to tell them as much as possible that might predict a future attack, might predict a coordinated attack, might give them some insight into what his network looked like.
And in the past, under the Patriot Act, that collection of data was not controlled by the telephone companies. That was actually controlled within the government. Wouldn't that allow faster access to that information? When these attacks are happening, they're real time, and law enforcement officials are trying to immediately assess if this could possibly be a coordinated attack.
Right. You want to get this information as quickly as possible. There are practical obstacles to that, even in an emergency situation. It is getting contact inside the providers, whether that's an internet service provider or a cell provider. There are practical limitations to it, but there are provisions to act on an emergency basis and get information very quickly.